What if I told you there's a group of nearly 900 people right here in Northwest Missouri who run at least 1 mile every single day? Some committed to do it for a year. Others have started there and they've never stopped. They're not elite athletes. They're not professionals. They're teachers, bartenders, parents, business owners, friends, and neighbors who decided to show up for themselves every single day. And around here, that matters. Missouri consistently ranks among the states with the highest obesity rates in the country. So while running 1 mile a day may not sound life-changing to some people, for others, it absolutely has been. People have lost weight. They've found community. People have discovered they were capable of far more than they ever believed. At the center of this movement is a group called the Measly Mile Mafia, a grassroots running community that started with a simple bet between friends. And somehow it's grown into one of the most inspiring things that's happened in St. Joseph. Today, I'm talking with one of its members, Justin Alvarez, about how it all started, why thousands of miles later it's become much bigger than running, and how a measly mile ended up changing lives. Stay tuned for our sponsor shout-outs a few minutes in. All right, here we go. Justin, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm like one of those girls who saw you on TikTok.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, he does a TikTok a day. And how many days has he been doing this? So congratulations.
Thank you.
On your streak. What in the world is this? What is the Measly Mile Mafia?
So in its basic form, Measly Mile Mafia is an online running community where the goal is to run at least one measly mile every single day for as many days as you can or as many days as you want.
How did you even get involved?
Well, it started as more of a bet. It was, so I've got a couple buddies, Max and Trey, and they worked together at the time. And Max bet Trey that he couldn't run a single mile every single day of 2022.
Wow.
And then, so I work at River Bluff Brewing. That's a place where, they would hang out from time to time. So they're about 9 days into this challenge and they asked me to join. They had already got one of our owners at River Bluff, Chris, to join as well. And I'm not one to back down from a challenge. So I accepted and then we started running then.
Now, that wasn't easy for you to start. I have read that you were quite a bit heavier at that point. So tell me about your journey.
So I was about 280 pounds when we first started, and I couldn't even come close to running a full mile. It was, I don't know, it made me aware of just how far out of shape I was, and so I just, continually, it was 40 days before I finished a mile of trying every single day. And then on the 40th day, I finished my first mile. And that's a feeling I always remember. I was like, oh man, I ran a mile. That's crazy. And, but I made a lot of changes during that time in my life, because at the end of the day, running 1 mile, it burns like 120 calories. That's a soda, that's a small snack.
Wow.
It's not an enormous change.
Right.
Cardiovascularly, I'm sure it's very good for you, but like as far as like losing weight, it's 1 mile is not going to do a whole lot for you. So I changed the way I ate, and within that first year, I was down over 70 pounds, and then the running was more of a catalyst. It was like, well, I get up in the morning, I'll do the thing, and having done one thing that, and even if you've done it a lot, running a mile is still hard, So having done the hard thing, getting it out of the way made it easier for me to stick with the other things I had in mind as far as the change went.
And this wasn't the first time that you had lost weight. Is that right? You had tried things before that it didn't stay off.
Yeah, true. So the first time I had lost weight, started about 285, worked my way down to 185, so it was 100 pounds. And I made it, and basically starving, if we're being honest. I didn't do a whole lot. I just didn't eat that much. And I made the weight. I said, all right, cool. I lost 100 pounds. I did it. And then I celebrated 80 pounds back on. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't sustainable what I was doing. And I didn't really think about it. I wasn't taking it into consideration. I had done no homework. I just, you know, starved.
Yeah.
Didn't
So,
work. It didn't work. I gave
right.
it. Yeah.
So how long have you been down to maybe like a goal weight?
So to be honest, I'm still not at my goal weight, but I'm sitting right around 200 pounds now, but I'd been down to about 175 when I was, working my hardest. So at this point, I sit around 200 being very comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm doing a comfortable amount of exercise. I'm eating a comfortable diet. And I'm right around 200 pounds. I still carry some body fat that I don't love, but I can live with it, and I'll be turning 50 pretty soon. So it's like, all right, I'm going to have one last stab at like really trying to get fit, which will require, more weight training and a little bit more diligence with the diet and
Well,
all of that.
don't say one last go because there's people right out there who are probably in their 70s and they're like, just forget it.
Oh, you're right. And I shouldn't have said it that way.
No, that's okay.
Um,
But what would you say to somebody who's home today and they're like, I'm hungry. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't have the energy. I don't have the stamina. I don't have the will. And I'm hungry. Like, how do you encourage people to really combat like this obesity number we have in Missouri?
the thing about it is that everyone is so different, so I don't ever try to sit and tell you what you should do. I don't think that's my place. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know. But what I do know is that having access to things can be very problematic. So like have healthier options sitting around, and make that easy. Because I think one of the things that people don't tend to understand for people that do battle their weight is that we'll eat 600, 700, 800 calories really kind of blindly and not really thinking about it by just like,
Grabbing something.
yeah,
Yeah.
scavenging or whatever, and just picking at stuff all through the day. And if you're doing that with carrots and things like that, it's not going to be a problem at all. But if you're grabbing potato chips and candies and things like that, those calories add up super quick. And even though it seems like a very small amount, it's odd how fast that adds up.
So, what's your secret? Because you are running, but are you also doing high protein?
Yeah, I feel like the simplest way to do things is to focus on protein, focus on fiber, right? Those two things they keep you satiated longer and it just makes it a little bit easier at the end of the day. And, I would never tell anybody to avoid carbs or anything like that. Because to me, it just feels like if you cut out an entire food group, at the end of the day, you're really just cutting out calories, right? Now, it is true that a lot of, high carbohydrate foods are calorie dense as well. So, most likely, if you're eating a lot of carbs, you're also eating a lot of calories. So, and I think that's why the low carbohydrates diet works so well, not because of anything outside of your consuming less calories.
Well, congratulations, because that's a big accomplishment. But so is getting on TikTok and recording a video every day saying, I'm running it today. Today is, I love your cadence too. You're like, hey, everybody, today is. I just love your accent. But tell me about this. It's a movement. And
Mhm.
that's part of the accountability, right? Is to make a post or share a picture with the community of
Right.
runners to hold you accountable that you are taking care of yourself and doing something every day. So tell me about this movement. How in the world did it grow so big? And did you ever think that the four of you guys would turn into a community of over 600?
Yeah, so we're pushing 900 now, to be
Really?
honest. Yeah. Between our Facebook and our Strava. Um, and no, of course we didn't think anyone would do it. We didn't think that we would do it, Um, But it kind of boils down to why I think it worked. At the beginning, it like I said, it was just a bet. And then, we got some of our closer friends involved and we were doing it. So they're like, well, we can't let them, outdo us. It's just a year, whatever. But we didn't really think that. I mean, I don't know if any of us thought we would, even ourselves would do it, you know? And I think it works because really everybody that's joined is looking for one of three things. One would be the challenge itself. And that kind of starts with 100 days. You know, do it for 100 days and you can get the t-shirt and you said, I ran a mile every day for 100 days. And in 100 days, you can change a lot about your mindset and you can change a lot about your body in 100 days as well. So you've got the challenge itself, and then you have accountability. So you get in there and and you have to make your post every day and you see that that's what everybody else is doing. And then you don't, and people are commenting on your things from time to time. And so, people are aware that you were there and you were doing it. So you don't want to let anybody down. You want to show up and you have to do your thing. And um, that helps a lot of people, just the accountability. And then the third reason I think that people join and stay is because of the community. And this, I feel like that's been the biggest change for several people in the group is when they get in there. Because some of these people are already fit and, they're not coming in because they need to exercise more. And some of them are already good runners, which is always fun to watch somebody come in on their first day and they're like, got my, 7 minute, 10-second, 3 mile run in. And you're like, oh, that's better than I've ever done, 4 years deep. But they make friends, and there's people that come into this group kind of not having a community of people or having friend groups. And then I see them and now they're hanging out, they're going on runs and they're really, really enjoying that.
They're
I feel
running
like,
the New York City Marathon
oh my
together. Like,
goodness.
what?
That's a thing too that is so hard to believe that so many people came in, you know, barely able to do their mile. And then they're, a year in, 2 years in, and they're running marathons. And some of these people have really started running multiple marathons. And, coming from that being, I didn't even know that's a thing that people really did. Like I don't know that I had met anybody that was a marathon runner. And now we're in this group and there's, I don't know how many, 50, 60 at least that have done marathons, and most of them for the very first time. So it has opened the windows and doors for a lot of people to realize that they're capable of so much more than they thought.
Well, I've heard some incredible stories, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today. One of the stories I heard was of a girl who had battled addiction,
Mm.
and it was one of the only things that really helped her get out of that cycle of bad eating, bad drinking, bad friends, and she broke it.
Yeah.
And she hasn't looked back. So tell me about stories like that. What does that mean for you? Um, and what does it mean for the community?
Well, hearing stories like that and then watching people go from having one look in their eye to having this totally different glow about themselves. And like, that's what makes any of this worth it to me. It's so cool to watch somebody turn their life around and watch them heading in a direction that makes them so proud of themselves. And that's, I think, what I get most out of being a part of this group is seeing the transformation, not physically necessarily, even though that's super cool too, but the mental transformations and people for the first time in a really long time starting to take care of themselves and care about themselves. And that's what makes this group so amazing to me. And as far as the community goes, I think anytime, we've got on the board at River Bluff Brewing now, where we kind of set up our headquarters there so people can actually meet there and see one another in real life and not just online. Um, when person reaches a year, they get to put their name tag up on the board, and there are, I think, 377 names on the wall now, and this is people that have ran, whether it be a mile or however many miles they ran, but every single day for at least a year. And in a year of doing something every day, you're changed. You know, um,
I mean, how many days are you at now?
uh, when I finish this and run, it will be 1,493 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and there's people in the group that have more than that, and there's been a couple people that joined that already had like 2,000 day streaks
Mhm.
to begin with, but then they wanted to be a part of this, and I think that's pretty neat too.
It's given St. Joe a little bit of a designation. Is this like a Guinness Book World Record? What is this?
So we looked into Guinness, and it turns out that's very expensive to do.
It's
However,
like the who's who of
yeah,
people. You got to pay for it.
you have to pay like a significant amount, like so much that we didn't even consider it.
Yeah.
But what we are saying St. Joseph, the run streak capital of the world, right? So, and that category starts at 365 days. So there are more people in St. Joe that have active run streaks over 365 days than there are in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, and by a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, especially for a state and a community that's like known for obesity.
Right.
What? Did you ever think in a million years that you guys would get a designation like that, or that it would actually change people's lives?
No, not at all. But we did see it starting to happen, and then it became more important to us.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the few of us that are sitting around and that kind of started it, and it's just it's unbelievable to and looking at that board and all those lives, because I know for sure that every single person on that board's life has changed.
Mhm.
Every time I see somebody walking around town with the Measly Mile Mafia t-shirt, I know they earned that.
Yeah.
And I know that they're proud of it, and I know that it changed them, and I know it didn't change them for the worse.
I have a friend right now who just started. She's going for 365. I think she's at maybe 200. I don't know. I'm making that up. But what would you say to her? How does she finish? How would you encourage her today? Like, look into the camera and say to her, what would you say?
So, is this the camera? Okay. Honestly, this is what I think is she's at 200 days, right?
Yeah.
You already know what you have to do. You learned it in the first 100 days. Because after that first 100 days, you've already pretty much ran out of excuses, so now it's just a choice.
Yeah.
It is, if you want to make that board, you will, because I guarantee you at 100 days, you've already had a really busy day.
Mm-hmm.
You've already had a day that nothing went right, but you still figured out how to get that mile in. You still found the 14 minutes or whatever it takes to make sure you finish your mile. And at 200 days, you've just solidified all those opinions. You've already been sick. You've already, not felt good. You've already not wanted to do it more than anything. But you've also learned that those days that it's really hard pay off so well. Like, when you get that mile in, that like, you're like, oh, I can't believe I had time, or I made time, or I got it done in my flip flops, or, I was wearing dress pants, or however it worked. Those runs pay off so well. Or like if it was raining or the weather was bad and you still knocked it out, feels so good to finish those runs. And that person at 200 days, they already know that.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So-
that's why I love the TikToks, right? Because you like look right in the camera and you're like, I'm doing this. I'm knocking it out today. And I just loved it.
Right.
And I don't even run. Okay, so talk to somebody like me who is like, okay, not a runner, so nervous about my knees. I'm going to kill him. Like, it's going to hurt. You don't have to run a mile today. I love that you gave me permission that I don't have to do it a mile today, that I can work my way up to that and then start my streak.
So, well, you can start your streak without being able to run the full mile,
Okay.
but you have to run some of it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just start out and walk. And that's been a topic of much debate within the group. But at this point, we've been around so long; it's been the rule for so long, it's changing. It's kind of out of the question.
But what do you say to somebody who thinks like, are you sure I can do this?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, there are people that can't. You know what I mean? Because like there's a 20-minute minimum. You have to finish your mile in 20 minutes. And granted, many people can walk a mile in less than 20 minutes, but we want you pushing towards being able to run that mile.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that have had to work before they could start, and that have done that. But like, sadly, people that do have like legitimate knee problems and stuff, is probably not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not for everyone, but it is for many.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to even sit here and say that, but that's just
It's true.
the reality.
Yeah. You don't want anybody to hurt themselves by any means.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's talk about hurting ourselves, because the other story I heard was that there are people who have given birth and who have not missed a day. Who are these people?
I believe there have been 2. And yeah, that doesn't come on my recommendation. just to clarify. Yeah, but that's an astounding feat.
Yeah.
That is hard to even believe, and that goes to show also, what can be done.
That's crazy.
That one truly is.
Yeah.
Yeah, very hard to believe.
It makes us speechless. I want to take a break and just mention our sponsors really quick. E.L. Crawford Construction, we want to thank you. We also want to thank Woolman Deluxe Truck Stop. We're grateful for your new sponsorship, Greater Than Financial, Gina's Cafe and Catering, North Central Missouri College, the Savannah campus, thank you, Scooters Coffee, and Pancakes, Pups and Suds. We wouldn't be able to do this podcast without your support, so thank you. The requirements for this, 1 mile in under 20.
Yes.
But also, I need to make sure that I'm like verifying that I'm being accountable. So what are my rules as far as posting a picture or posting my watch, or how does this work?
Yeah, it's very simple. So you can post like just the screenshot from your Strava on your phone, right?
What's a Strava?
Strava is just a run tracking app. There's several of them. You can use Nike or Runkeeper.
Can you use your Apple Watch?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There are so many people that every day their only post is just a picture of their watch with the stats. And all we need to know is how far and was it under the 20-minute barrier.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's part of the verification there. That's pretty easy. Any other requirements? Do I need to sign up? Do I go to River Bluff, or how do we sign up?
No, so it's you can join through Strava. We do have a community on Strava. It's Strava. And we're Measly Mile Mafia there, and you can join that. But the preferred way is to join our Facebook page, which is Measly Mile Mafia. It's a private group, so you don't have to worry about any of your things getting out in regular world.
The ether.
Exactly. And we ask you a number of questions, when we ask you to read the rules, and ask that you how you heard about us, because that's always fun to learn how, and why, especially at the beginning. Like, how did you know about this? Especially when it became people that we were no longer familiar with, because it started obviously with just people that we knew, and has grown into people that we got to know, which is really cool. So yeah, anyways, I think it asks 4 questions, simple questions, and then you have to agree to follow the rules that way. And then That way you don't come in and then have to ask us 1,000 questions, because when there's so many people, it got to be a lot of answering questions and things like that. And it's just kind of like, oh, it's in the rules.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
a lot easier
Yeah.
now that we can be like,
I see. I mean, 900 people,
Yeah.
right? That's a lot.
it is a tremendous amount.
Talk to me about this documentary. Is there any word about this? Are we going to actually make one? What's happening?
So it had started, and we filmed a lot, and then it I don't know where it is now.
Okay.
There were some situations that arose that had nothing to do with us, and I don't have any idea where that stands now. But I certainly hope that it gets to happen, because
Awesome.
it was pretty fun.
That's great. And platform wise, is it an independent company right now, or is it like platform wise?
Yeah, I don't even think they've finished it.
It's
so
just an idea.
yeah,
Awesome. I
right.
love that. And then tell me about the community in St. Joe. I mean, we all know River Bluff is there. Sometimes I kind of feel like, since I don't know anybody that's going to be in the bar, like it's weird for me to walk in and be like, yeah, I'm going to order some pizza next door and hang out. But it's really been really different vibe down there. So you bartend down there. Tell me.
I do.
Yeah, tell me about the community and how much that's grown.
So, do you mean how it changed the situation at River Bluff itself?
Yeah, just like what's happened. It
So-
seems like the community has really grown down there.
Yeah, it definitely has, and a lot of that revolves around like when people they come down to get their 100-day shirts, and their family will come with them to, see that and to
Yeah.
experience it. And then when people hang their name on the board and all that stuff, and to kind of even look at the board and realize what's going on there. So, biggest change is we have a lot more, events for the Mafia, on top of the fact that we do 4 times a year, we do like a big group gathering where we've had, well over 100 people that all showed up to do that kind of thing. Not to mention on June 6th, we do a big charity. So it's a boys versus girls challenge, and it's just everybody runs as many miles as they can get in that day, and the team that acquires the most miles donates to the cause of their choice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So last year we raised over $2,000.
Did you grow up here?
I did.
So different than it used to be.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that. What's your story?
So I was born and raised in St. Joe, and then after high school, I moved to California, and I lived out there for about 4 years, and then came back here, started bartending, oddly, at the Belt Brewing Company, and that is where I met my wife. And then, so we've been together for 25 years almost, 20,
You better mark that anniversary. Make sure.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're good.
Well, I know the anniversary. This is the starting point is a little bit iffy. So
you guys
yeah,
have different
yeah,
ideas
we
about
just-
what the date was.
right. Well, we just celebrated 20 years of marriage, so that's
Yeah.
so we have that. I've got that on point.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I won't forget that one.
She's from here.
But
originally?
she is as well. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And I love St. Joe, and I think that there's a lot of
Not everyone would say that.
oh, I know.
I love that.
I know, but I've done a fair amount of traveling. I've lived elsewhere, and we have some of the best people I've ever met in my life in this area. And there's also a lot of things that we can do. And even if we don't have like huge venues and things like that, we're an hour away
Mhm.
from Kansas City, where we can go and visit other things as well. But like, I like the small-ish community. I like the fact that, when we go to the grocery store, we'll see somebody that we know. I enjoy that.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want to change that. I like that. But we're big enough that you can still, go somewhere and not be known. But we're small enough to where you don't have to be alone.
I love too that a lot of people are relocating here from California in
Hmm.
recent years. I've known several families. And I mean, it helps that gas isn't, $15 a gallon,
Yeah, it
right?
does. Yeah, and that I can afford a home and
Yeah,
still have time to see my family. So,
I love that. One more question about this running situation. What's with the sunrise runs and the fun socks? Is this something I can take part in?
oh,
Is
sunrise runs.
there something like that?
There's a breakfast club every Saturday morning, and that might be it, but it's not. It's usually not before the sun rises. But so okay, this is maybe what you're talking about. So we do side quests every week,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So and it's one of the side quests that we do is the sunrise run. So that if you want to do all the 52 side quests for the year, one time you're gonna have to wake
Wait,
up a little
what?
bit
Okay,
early.
wait. So there's a side quest every week?
Yes.
Okay. And what's an example of these things?
So this week was we'll run for tacos. So you wanted to either run by a Mexican restaurant, taco stand, whatever, and make tacos. Any way you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was the sunrise one. Sometimes there was one where you have to run with a friend. Um, there's 52 different ones. And I try to make them reasonable. One of them is just run over a bridge,
Yeah.
so like you'll have to, we had a GPS drawing one. So, you'll run your route and try to make it look like an animal or a word or whatever.
Cool.
Um, One of them is run to some sort of an art exhibit,
Or a
like whether
car
it be
wash or something.
yeah. I mean, it could be several things. Like we just try to keep it interesting. And then this year, if you do all 52 of them, then you can get one of our. We have a new shirt that we're going to do this year, which is it's kind of like a concert tee. It lists all the side quests on the back, and you know,
That's awesome.
yeah. And that's the thing too. We kind of gamify it, right? So at 100 days, you can get a T-shirt. At 500 days, you can get a hat. We have 1,000-day shirt. We have the tie-dye shirts for everybody that makes a year, and that's kind of the big one. So, and I brought some of those if you wanted to see them.
Awesome. Yeah, do not give it to me for free yet because I'm
Oh,
going to try. I actually
cool.
am.
That would be great.
I really want to.
Listen, you can.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is that you can do it.
I've seen, like I said, I have a friend who started, and I have another friend who is in my neighborhood, and
Mhm.
I've watched her, and
Yeah.
I've watched her kids and her family get involved. So it's exciting. What do you envision in the next 5 years for this club?
It's hard telling. We never knew that it would get to this point right now. But if it continues to grow, then things will have to change because we won't have time.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what that looks like. Um, I know that everybody that's involved is happy to be involved, and I don't think that there's anybody that's trying to not be a part of it anymore. I mean, that's that
Yeah.
does the work for us. So I would like to see it just get bigger and bigger, and I would like to see us. And like we have people in Colorado, we've got people in Florida, we've got people in Minnesota. We've got my brother is not running anymore, but he did make his year, and he lives in Australia.
Wow.
We've got people in Hawaii that are doing it. So I would like to see it be like more to where there was like different mafia communities that kind of were more self-sufficient, you know what I mean? And then this is like the
Yeah,
hub.
like brother started running again, and he started his own little gig.
Right. And
Yeah.
then see how that would work. I would like for that to be a thing.
Yeah.
But for me to try to pretend like I know what it will be like wouldn't be authentic at all. I have no idea where it's gonna go. But
Yeah.
I know that we're gonna do our best to enjoy it no matter where it goes.
Well, I love that just a few guys who were friends decided to do something together, and it really has started quite the movement. And it's really improved the health of people in our community.
Without a doubt.
And the challenge, I mean, is there, it's on the table. So if we want to do it, like it doesn't take a lot of work to try to start something. on your own there and have the community and the support and the accountability.
Right.
So thanks for what you're doing in St. Joe.
Well, thanks for enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been cool to follow you on TikTok. And so keep doing those TikToks.
Yeah, well, I said I was going to do 100 days, and now I'm at like, I'm too close to a year to stop doing it now.
Yeah.
So, and I've also become, I enjoy doing them. And,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird because a lot of times it has nothing to do with the mafia itself, even
Yeah.
though like the goal at the beginning was to try to, get people interested that weren't like local, right?
Yeah.
And just to try to like get the word of what we do kind of out there. I don't know that I'm not doing that, but a lot of times it's like, hey, this is what's going on with my son or, whatever. But I figure it's still going to end with this is what I ran. And then this is what is happening in my life. And if you want to follow along, cool. If not, that also makes sense.
I mean, I think a lot of people, overestimate what it means to be an influencer. They think, oh, I can't be an influencer. Like that's it. Well, I'm one of them. I don't think I could ever be an influencer. I just don't know where to begin. I don't know if I want to do it. I think I would be worried about people judging me, like all the things, right? Imposter syndrome. But for somebody like you, you've kind of stumbled into being an influencer. I don't know if you've realized that, but when I watch you, I think, here's a regular guy who's just so laid back and he's just like, hey, running my mile today. And I don't know why I like them so much. I think it's just because you make it feel so relatable and you make it feel like, I actually think I could do this. I don't have to think that I'm like looking at my marathon, my New York City marathon running, a neighbor. Go Ariel, by the way, go Ariel. Good luck. But I don't have to put myself up to that standard. Like I can look at you and be like, okay, I can be chill. I can try this.
Right.
So,
and that's just the sort of the way that I look at it is that I'm never going to say anything that I don't mean.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pretend that I know what's best for you because I don't.
Yeah. I like your new kicks, by the way.
Thank you. First time wearing them.
I saw it yesterday on TikTok. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go run around your Savannah in this outfit for about a mile. And when we're done here, I have no choice. By the time I'll be late
I'm
for
going
work
to take
if I
some
don't.
video for you. But, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you encouraging the community to be healthy. And Justin, thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me. This was super fun.
You can run our square anytime.
Okay, good. I'm going to. And I think you have a little graveyard over there. So
yeah.
A really beautiful one, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I loved most about this conversation is that this really isn't about running. It's about consistency, accountability, and proving to ourselves that even on those hard days, we can still show up. And maybe that's why the Measly Mile Mafia has resonated with so many people, because at some point, everybody is trying to change something about their life. Justin and this community have created something that feels rare these days: encouragement without judgment, accountability without shame, and a reminder that simple steps repeated over time can completely change us. So whether you're someone who runs marathons or someone who's just trying to make it around the block, maybe it's our sign to start. Thank you for listening to the 3994. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, leave us an Apple review, a comment, share it with somebody who needs a little encouragement. All right, we'll see you next time.